My name is Zinishwas, and this plan is for fish. Thank God, beginning, me, I work with timber, it's my specialty, what I know better. For a long time, I was in the timber business. And I begin to do this program for fish, for alkaline, saline waters and saline, to find a solution. And I hope to use this inside a country to have a solution for the salt waters that they have. And at the same time could be food for camels and for mangrove crab that lives in the mangroves. It was a situation to use some of the salty lands that have plenty of water in the superficie, to use them in this situation. And it was the beginning of this program. This is the grass carp. Grass carp is a carp that eats everything, and is why is one of the fish that I choose for people with low income to have one protein, a rich protein in food, eating grass carp. It's very important because you are going to see what they are going to eat mainly, and you can have lots of grass carp production and do it in a very different ways. And to animal feed, because dogs and cats eat fish, and today animal feed is a very important market that needs materials. They eat like us. There is another image for a grass carp. You cannot see very well this one. And it's one way of doing grass carp cooking. Can be full, can be in these things, frozen, and sell in the market with a very low price, because it's one like chicken you produce in big quantities. Grass carp will be the same. The idea of grass carp comes from America, because it tends to be an invasive species, killing everything in the way, and going to the Great Lakes. And they don't want that they went there, because they will monopolize the place, because they grow very fast in size and eat a lot. Is why, like this part here is lemma, is a duckweed, but a little small. They eat the small one and the big one, depends on the size. And you can have a small lake or ponds with the sweet water for a grass carp. And if you use this, we don't need to feed them every day. We just put them, if you don't see in the grass, you just in the water. We can control the quantity in the water for what they eat, and because this thing grows very fast and rapid. If you use too much, you are going to close the pond. And but we can control that situation, the quantity for the grass carp eater, without to be taking all the light. And is a very strong, healthy carp too. This is chlorella. It's not properly, it's not adequate for this situation. Duckweed, how we produce duckweed, that you can produce duckweed separate from the fish, to give the fish. And another thing, the idea of grass carp, it was not only for human feed, it was for animal feed, for fish. You have lots of different fishes that eat fish. And if you have the carp, we can give after to other fish to eat. So we get a cheap way of getting a fish to give food to another fish. So it's for humans, and for fish production, the carp. And this is one of ways to have the duckweed to give to the carps. Another way how we see, this thing grows very a lot. the production is very big in a short days. For fish, you can have salt fish and sweet fish, and you can have algae for salt water too. And you can have these things in ponds and choose a kind of fish, a vegetarian fish who eats vegetables. And we can do exactly like the carp, the same situation. Is a picture that people are fishing carps, but I don't think people know, because this thing, we don't see much in this picture, but it's full of duckweed. That is food for for ducks and for the carp. This is another way for using. If you are using ponds with salt water, you can have plankton. You can create a rich plankton environment to have fish there. It's another way of feeding the animals or the fish. Another one, you can check in YouTube. These two things are from just this. I don't know if this. Yeah, this one are from YouTube too. You can see and you can look in YouTube. You find a lot of these situations. But it's a different way to reach the salt waters for fish feed. You just write and you have the information in YouTube. It's very interesting. This is the same. It's the same thing that some of them make this color in the sea. In special days, we get this color in the sea with the plankton. And the algae. You can have not all the algae are this size. There are very small algae that can be food fish. Slice science, unlocking algae potential from pollution to super substance. You can eat, and you can, together with fish, producing algae, and you can have it for human and animal feed too. But it's just to say this is one more way to produce algae for us and animals that can keep the small ones can keep the algae in the fish can eat directly in the ponds algae. This is a way of producing fish nowadays. The majority is on the sea, where we produce a lot of quantities. I say small grass carps are going to give food for fish here that eat animal protein, fish. But there is a different way of doing ponds. It's in deserts or in situations we have mountains without anything. You can take the water directly from the sun, the sea, and fill part of mountains with the seawater and have plankton, have algae, have fish in them. I say in the future electricity are going to be very cheap, because there are another way now to make electricity that we can have a very low price for energy, that we can use electricity for everything. And you can fill these parts with salt water and have fish in many places that don't have anything today, just are deserts or mountains without anything, without any vegetation at all. Like you see, this one is sweet water. You can do the same with sweet water in some places. Or taking water from the river for ponds, like that, to have fish and algae. It's for creating tilapia in Mozambique. There are many countries that have already these situations, but they don't pay altogether how important agriculture are for the country. Many times they import food because they don't develop a system agricultural for food for themselves. That is something that people must begin to ask their governments to do that, to prepare that situation. Of farmers raise millions of tilapia. You can see many in the YouTube. That is was mass farm agriculture. There are very ways, cheaper ways to get the feed, the price for the feed, and ways to produce this. It's from my region, where I'm born, is to show that you have this part is with water from everywhere. And one of the situations here is that I spent many years when I was young, from 6 or 7 years old that I remember, for until 16, I went every time to the beach, every year. But these parts of the house, I live in one house near here, and near here too. It's far away from here to there. And we didn't have water, sweet water coming from another place. It was a well making in these parts that was taking the water. That means near the beach you can have water a little salty, but still you can live there. And you can still have stations. We spent in the sun to get color with the sun in these parts here. And there is a lot of vegetation on the sand. It was only sand, and it was very hot. We drive fast, and you get black in 2 or 3 days. But just is to say that you can have water and places where normally today we don't have people, but you can have people there. In the future you can change water, salt water for sweet water will be easy and cheaper. But it's important, this part, because when we go to the middle of a desert, you can imagine in the Sahara, in the middle of the Sahara, if we have salt water there, we are going to have a little salty water there because the sun are going to filtrate the water and are going to create a different environment that will be warm at night because desert is freezing at night, but with water, humidity, they are going to be warm. They are going to be water for crops, and they can change all the environments of the deserts, sun deserts that we have today with salt water. Another catfish is another fish, I think because I found fish grain-based diet. They don't eat fish, but they can eat vegetables too. Catfish eats everything. They eat everything. They live with a few water. It's a fish that with big productions and that we can produce too. It's produced in a big quantities. Another part for deserts, for salt water, for fish, algae, because you can have algae to collect algae for human. Algae, we are going to see, the algae I speak is on the top, but can be used by animal feed, cows, chickens, fish, and for us, humans. And you can produce a lot of algae, salty algae, for use it in animal feed and human feed. Of course, they eat algae. Lots of fish are vegetarian. This is why duckweed is so important in the production of fish in sweet waters and food for fish. Another way of the deserts, I know that I have too. Another way to use water is with vegetables. And it's the same situation for herbs with the flower flavor. Pellets for animal feed and fish feed that can be made with duckweed and algae is the same. I don't know, I have so many things. This is a plant. This is a plant that used for is a peanut. Anyway, it's a vegetable with I don't know the quality of the leaves, but the peanuts are good for animal feed. I finished now, and this is the sun god, and this is the end of this program. Thank you very much. Subscribe to have news from my channel. Bye bye.